6:04 a.m. The mist still clinging to Silverwood Lake like a ghost that forgot to leave. The only sound the soft slap of water against cedar planks and the low whistle of my coffee kettle inside the cabin. When red and blue lights slice through the fog and bounce off the water like a horror movie jump scare. I step onto the dock barefoot, mug steaming in one hand, the other shielding my eyes. And there she is, Victoria Langford, 49, president of the Silverwood Shores Platinum Association, white Range Rover still running behind the sheriff's cruiser, designer yoga pants, ponytail so tight it could tune a guitar, screaming into her phone loud enough to scatter the loons. Yes, officer, illegal structure, environmental hazard, possible squatter. I need him removed right now. I just stand there on the same dock my granddad Walter Brennan handpegged in 1948, the year he came home from Okinawa with one less finger and twice the stubborn, and I feel the grin crawl across my face like sunrise on a battlefield, because some mornings the universe hands you a 5'6" blonde tornado in Lululemon and says, "Here, hold my beer." My name's Cole Brennan, 55, retired master electrician, hands still calloused from 30 years of pulling 500 MCM like it was dental floss, heart still a little cracked from a divorce that felt like someone yanked the ground wire out of my soul. And 8 months ago, I inherited Granddad Walter's fishing cabin on the prettiest bend of Silverwood Lake you ever saw. One-room cedar shack with a potbelly stove and more soul than a gospel choir. The kind of place that smells like pine tar, coffee, and every summer memory I own. I came here to fix what was broken. The cabin, my hands, maybe my heart. And instead I walked straight into Victoria Langford, real estate queen, married to a hedge fund prince, ruler of 42 lakeside palaces that each cost more than the GDP of a small country. And the second she laid eyes on my grandfather's cabin, she decided it was a pimple on the face of her perfect Silverwood Shores empire. Deputy Alvarez steps out of the cruiser, hat in hand because even he knows this is theater, runs the parcel number, looks at the water, looks at me, looks at Victoria like she's a toddler who just demanded the moon, and says the words that taste like the first sip of whiskey after a long cold day. "Ma'am, this parcel predates your subdivision by 47 years. The Brennan family never signed your covenants. Your HOA has exactly zero authority here. Less than zero, negative jurisdiction. You're basically yelling at a cloud. You ever seen a woman's entire personality short-circuit in real time? Victoria's face cycles through colors Crayola doesn't make. Rage crimson, ghost pale, Botox-defying purple, and I swear I hear the exact moment her ego cracks like lake ice in April. I raise my coffee and salute. Beautiful morning for a swim, Vicky. That should have been the end. That was only the first spark. They say hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Victoria took that personally and weaponized it. 3 days later I wake to find a certified letter taped to my door like a death warrant, Silverwood Shores Platinum Association seal gleaming like a vampire's fong, $2,900 in fines for unauthorized historical structure, non-conforming aesthetic, environmental blight, existential threat to property values, payable in 30 days or face lien. And I laugh so hard the loons answer back. I spend the night in the county courthouse basement with Marty, who still owes me for rewiring his bar after he tried to install a mechanical bull, and we dig through deed books older than electricity until our eyes bleed. And there it is glowing like the holy grail under fluorescent light. Parcel 001. B. Brennan Family Trust. Exempt in perpetuity. Plus the 1994 master easement that makes my hands actually shake. Granddad didn't just keep the cabin. He kept the lake. Every single dock, every boat slip, every seawall those McMansions depend on requires annual written consent from the Brennan family designate. Me, and Victoria has been collecting $2,400 a month per slip for 30 years without ever asking permission. I sit in that basement smelling like mildew and victory, realizing I'm holding a legal thermonuclear device wrapped in yellowed paper and Granddad's handwriting. But I'm not the type to go nuclear without offering peace first. I make an appointment with the HOA attorney Preston Caldwell, no relation, thank God. Walk into his mahogany cathedral with nothing but a manila folder and a heartbeat you can hear across the room. Slide the easement across his desk like I'm dealing blackjack in Vegas, and watch his tan drain faster than lake water through a busted dam. He reads it once, twice, reaches for his glasses, reads it a third time, then looks at me like I just grew a second head. Cole, this is ironclad. You could revoke every dock permit tomorrow. Every sale, every mortgage, every insurance policy collapses without lake access. Conservative estimate your signature is worth $3 million to this community. I tell him I just want to fix my cabin in peace, but maybe pass the message along before Victoria does something we'll all regret. Word travels faster than gossip in a beauty salon, and by sunset Marty texts me from the bar. Victoria just tried to get you banned from buying lumber. Hardware store owner told her to pound sand. Also, she's claiming dock ownership for insurance. Girls spiraling. Victoria doesn't spiral quietly. She goes full Category 5. Fake next-door accounts posting drone photos of my cabin labeled Future Superfund Site. Anonymous letters in mailboxes at 2 a.m. Leave, or we make you wish you had. Her teenage son Hunter spray painting, go home, on my siding at midnight. Caught in 4K because granddad taught me paranoia is just good planning. And when I don't bite, she escalates to sabotage. Yard waste dumped at my property line. Property markers yanked like weeds. Cash envelopes offered to inspectors. Marina owner threatened with boycott if he doesn't ban me from the launch. Every move documented, every camera rolling, every insult timestamped. Because granddad also taught me that patience is just revenge wearing a better suit. And then the crawlspace miracle. Rain hammering the tin roof like machine gun fire. Me on my back under the cabin wrestling insulation. Elbow knocks something metal wedge between joists. Smaller box than the first. Wrapped in oilcloth like pirate gold. Inside the master 1994 contract with a clause that makes my heart actually stop. Brennan family retains perpetual approval authority over all water-related permits on Silverwood Lake. Revocation at designates sole discretion, no appeal. I climb out covered in cobwebs and destiny. Sit at granddad's table while thunder shakes the windows, reading until the words blur, realizing I don't just own the docks. I own the lake's heartbeat. Every permit, every seawall, every drop of water those million-dollar homes depend on. And for one dark second, I imagine revoking them all. Imagine Victoria watching her empire sink while I sip coffee on the only legal dock left. But granddad's voice drifts through the rafters. Boy, power ain't for drowning folks. It's for keeping the water clean. And I know what I have to do. Not destroy a community. Save it from the woman who tried to drown me to stay afloat. We set the trap like open-heart surgery, every incision perfect. Wait for Victoria to call her final emergency meeting to remove the lakefront threat once and for all. Send her official letterhead on her own stationery. Invite every resident, every councilman, every reporter who'll listen. Promise shocking evidence of fraud and environmental terrorism. Watch her strut into the Silverwood Community Pavilion like she's about to accept a crown. Navy power suit sharp enough to shave with. Ponytail weaponized. Banker boxes labeled evidence of squatter. Conspiracy. Husband Preston Jr. already halfway checked out. Son Hunter twitching from community service hours for vandalism. The room is packed tighter than a dive bar on Friday. 112 residents. Channel 7 crew. County Commissioner Ramirez. Even folks from North Bay who drove 2 hours for the show. I walk in late. Boots still damp from morning fog. Carrying one single binder, and the kind of calm that comes from knowing you're about to drop a bomb wrapped in velvet. Victoria takes the stage like she's performing at the Super Bowl. PowerPoint titled, Saving Our Lake from Anarchy. Slide 1. My cabin photoshopped to look radioactive. Slide 2. Fake graphs showing property values in freefall. Slide 3. Me labeled transient threat level red, and she's in full preacher mode. Voice climbing octaves. This man has terrorized our families, threatened our children, destroyed our investments. Tony. GHT, we vote to remove this blight forever. The crowd roars approval, because fear is a hell of a drug, until Commissioner Ramirez clears her throat like a judge's gavel. Mr. Brennan, care to respond? I stand slow, walk to the front while every phone camera turns my way, lay the 1994 contract on the podium like I'm placing flowers on a grave, and start reading the clause that silences the room faster than a power outage. Brennan family designate retains sole approval authority over all water access structures on Silverwood Lake. Revocation without notice. No appeal. Effective immediately upon noncompliance. You could hear a loon fart. Victoria explodes from her chair, ponytail whipping like a battle flag. Forged. Arrest him. This is extortion. While Commissioner Ramirez examines the document under the projector, notary seals glowing like neon, signatures verified by 3 counties, and says the words that drop Victoria to her knees. Mrs. Langford, these appear authentic. In fact, every dock permit in this room has been invalid for 30 years. I pull out the easement agreements I spent weeks drafting, permanent dock rights for every current resident, no fees, no fines, just peace, and a proposal to redirect every dollar Victoria collected into the Walter Brennan Lake Legacy Fund, water testing, native plants, scholarships for kids who want to protect what Granddad loved. Victoria loses her mind in 4K, lunges for the projector screaming conspiracy, class warfare, rips her own poster boards in half. Security has to carry her out while she kicks and screams about people like him not belonging near people like us. Husband follows apologizing to anyone who'll listen. Hunter tries to film himself yelling and gets escorted out by his ear. The room erupts, not in anger, in relief. Residents lining up to shake my hand with tears in their eyes. We had no idea. We're so sorry. Thank you for not taking our homes. The new board president, Margaret Shun, retired principal with a backbone of rebar, calls for Victoria's immediate removal. Unanimous vote. Resignation accepted before the coffee gets cold. Aftermath hits like spring thaw. Victoria fined $7,500 for bribery attempts. Ordered to pay my legal fees $18,000. House sold in 42 days to a family who just wanted to fish. Husband transferred to Cleveland branch where nobody knows his wife tried to bankrupt a war hero's grandson. Her Range Rover repossessed after the dock fee restitution wiped her accounts cleaner than a bald tire. 6 months later, I'm married on Granddad's dock at Sunset. Margaret officiating because love doesn't need bureaucracy. My grandson catching his first base from the same spot 4 generations learned to lie about size. Walter Brennan Lake Legacy Fund paying for water testing, eagle nests, scholarships sending kids to environmental school. Property values up 22% because turns out people pay extra for a lake that isn't ruled by a dictator. Every evening I sit where this all began. Boots in the water, coffee gone cold, watching the same loons that watched Granddad build this place, feeling him lean on the railing beside me, nodding slow. You kept the water clean, son. Victoria's doing community service picking up trash along the county roads, orange vest clashing with her highlights, and every time she bends over I swear the lake laughs. But some nights when the wind moves through the cedars just right, I still hear her voice across the water. People like him don't belong. And I wonder, was it justice, or did I just become the new gatekeeper with kinder rules? Because power tastes sweet until you realize someone always pays the bill. And even when you use it to heal, part of you still remembers how good it felt to watch the wicked drown. So tell me, where's the line between protecting your legacy and becoming the monster you replaced? When someone tries to erase your grandfather's footprints from the only home he ever loved, steals from families to buy designer handbags, weaponizes the law like brass knuckles, how much is self-defense, and how much is just finally getting even? Drop your line in the comments, because the next Victoria is already circling someone's dock with a clipboard and a smile, and the only thing between her and your peace is you deciding how deep you're willing to drag her. Ring the bell, share the war story, because the lake remembers who tried to own it, and sometimes the water itself chooses who gets to stay.